Hey everyone, welcome back to Trigger Bar Philosopher. I'm going to have a little bit of a discussion about various range ammos today. I'm going to be looking at Ammo Inc. 180 grain TMC versus Federal 180 grain Full Metal Jacket. My intent for this video is to really examine and take a look at the velocities out of these two rounds of ammunition to determine if any of these sort of quote-unquote practice ammunitions are going to get close to the feeling and impact of a more heavier round that I would use for more bear protection or personal defense. A hotter loaded, fully loaded 10 millimeter round of ammunition. And what I'm going to be testing it out of today is my XDM Elite with a 3.8 inch barrel. But I also have a barrel from Springer Precision made by Barstow that's just a little bit longer. It has a threaded barrel for the 3.8 inch gun. And we're going to test it out. We should get higher velocities with this slightly longer barrel. Be good to know is it enough of a difference to make a difference, as Paul Harrell says. And so we'll be trying that out today. I have got my LabRadar set up and we'll take a look. Okay, first up I've got the Ammo Inc. I've got about 8 rounds of ammunition in here, and we will see what we get for testing. Get the LabRadar set up. 1138. 1154. 1152. 1147. 1153. 1170. 1163. 1165. And that's the last round. Okay, so we got 8 shots. We'll try to keep it to about 8. Let's just take a quick look at what the LabRadar is showing us. All right, so we got an average velocity of 1155, high of 1170, low of 1138, deviation of 10.2. It was really good ammo in my opinion in terms of deviation. Very consistently loaded. I would say that TMC Ammo Inc. ammo is pretty high quality ammunition. I would say at 1150 it's still maybe 100 feet per second slower of some of the hotter ammo, but it's not bad. It's not terrible. I think when we do some of these other tests, we'll see that there are worse. Okay, next up I've got the Federal American Eagle, again out of the 3.8 inch barrel. Let me start a new group here. Just get the LabRadar set up so it's nice and clean on this fresh set of ammo. And I can already tell that's a lot weaker of a thing. Oh, and I did not get it set up correctly. So let me get going. 1022. So almost 130 feet per second slower. 1026. 1029. 1035. 1014. 1025. So 1025 again. Let me just shoot a couple extra rounds in here. We had that first one that the LabRadar wasn't on, the last one that it didn't function on. It's possible it did 2 rounds the same. It'll tell me at the end how many it recorded. 1012 and one more. 1025. So it actually did count one of those because it says that I've shot 9. So again, let's put this down. We're safe. Let's just get this set up so that we can see what the totals are for that group that we shot. The average was 1024. Again, almost about 130 feet per second slower than the others. The high was 1035, low was 1012. Standard deviation 7.1. So very consistently loaded ammo, but very weak ammo in general. Okay, next up we're going to take a look at American Federal Eagle 180 grain, but this time we're going to look at it out of a little bit longer barrel. I believe this is around a 4-inch, 4 1/4 inch, somewhere in that range. I'll post it up in the outside of the video. But we're going to take a look at this Springer Precision. It's made by Barstow. I bought it at Springer Precision, match grade drop-in barrel with a threaded barrel. And that gives it just a little bit length. We'll see what impact that has on this range ammo. So let's go forward. Let's get it set up. I've got 8 rounds loaded in here. We will get a new group established on the LabRadar, and then we will get it ready to shoot. Okay, I've got the green light ready to go. $1,005, that's lower. 1,004, that's also lower. 1033, 1023, 1010, 1009, 1002, 994. So I think that's a really an interesting thing here is what's happening is my guess is that the original stock manufactured barrel is probably has better chamber support than this aftermarket barrel. So even though it has a little bit more length, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, a little bit more length, we're not seeing any improvement in the range or in the LabRadar speeds and performance. So let's try next our Ammo Inc. and see if we get the same result. Before we do that, let's just take a quick look and see what the averages were. Had a 110, that's about 10 feet per second slower or so than the previous one. High of 1033, low of 994, extreme spread, or sorry, standard deviation 12.3, a little bit higher, and 8 shots. Okay, next up we have the Ammo Inc. 180 grain TMC. These were spicier in the regular stock barrel. We're now going to try it in the 4-inch, 4 1/4 inch, whatever it is, inch barrel, threaded barrel from Springer Precision it's a Barstow drop-in barrel. These are generally considered high quality, but I'm beginning to suspect that there isn't as much chamber support as the stock Springfield barrel that came with this gun. So let's just do a little bit of a test with this, see what we get. Okay. 1124. 1167, 1163, 1149, 1177, 1171, 1174, 1158, and that's it. All right, so let's just take a quick look, see what we got for that grouping. All right, so we got an average of 1160, high of 1177, low of 1124, standard deviation 17.2, the number of shots 8. So that's interesting. I think that this is a slightly higher, not much higher. So maybe my theory about standard deviation. Not really sure what's going on. I would like to hear from you all what you think is going on. Again, we're looking at today is the Springer Precision threaded barrel. That's a slightly longer. I would have expected, better speeds, better velocities coming out of this ammunition. We're also just sort of testing various range ammunition, but I didn't really get that. So is it the lockup? What's going on between these two? I may just pull the barrel out here now and just take a quick look. Okay, here are these two barrels. We've got the Springer Precision and we've got the barrel that came stock with the XDM Elite 3.8 inch. Again, I think that's probably a 4, little over 4-inch barrel. Here, let's just do a quick check, see what we're getting in terms of chamber support. So we will put a bullet in the chamber, see how that is supported. Again, the XDMs are really pretty known. There's just a little bit of gap right in there, but pretty good, decent, well down into the chamber. Little bit of gap. It's got to have some kind of gap for the feed ramp, but really not much. Let's put the same. This is the Ammo Inc. TMC bullet or round. Let's put it in this one, see what we get. This is Springer Precision. Looks like that's just a little bit higher out and less chamber support. So I'm guessing that is. Eventually the velocity is going to catch up, I think, the higher we go, but I think that chamber support, or actually the longer the barrel we go, but I think that chamber support is just a little bit more deficient. There's a little bit more of a smile visible down in here. You can see a little bit more deeper down into the case than you can with the standard XDM barrel. So interesting result today. Tell me if you think I got this wrong. Maybe I'm misunderstanding it. What do you think is really happening? Why were the Federal American Eagle loads higher with a shorter barrel than with a longer barrel? I think I'm really liking this Ammo Inc. ammunition relative to the Federal. Federal's funner for blinking, but the Ammo Inc. is just a little bit closer to what we consider more normal range ammunition. Okay, here are the add-up slides. As you can tell, there really isn't much of a difference between the two different barrel lengths. I am sure pretty positive now that the difference between these two is the chamber support in the two barrels, because the other one is almost about a ½ inch thicker. And what I've tried and tested on other ammunition and other barrels, that you go up by a ½ inch, you're going to gain maybe 50 to 100 feet per second, depending on the ammunition in the barrel. So pretty sure that's what's happening here. As you can tell, I compare these rounds to some of the hotter ammunition from Underwood. And as you can tell, the ammunition, even though they're approaching the same velocities, the Underwood ammunition is a 220 grain hard cast bullet versus the Ammo Inc. and the Federal are 180 grain. So you would expect them to have higher velocities actually, but they don't. So that just kind of tells you where this ammunition stacks up against, true hot loaded 10 millimeter, full capacity 10 millimeter ammunition. I hope you liked it. I plan to do other tests. Please like, share, and subscribe, and let me know if you would like to see these other tests. Thank you.